Personal leverage is the key to a life of freedom. And the reason that it's likely that you probably don't know what this leverage is in your case, and we will get to those in a second, is simply not your fault. We have all been raised in a society that connects effort to results. So the more effort you put in, the more result you may expect, which creates this limiting belief for all of us that we are undeserving of rewards when we haven't put blood, sweat and tears into it. That when we, God forbid, start to enjoy the process a little bit, then we should also expect it to be a hobby and not something that's going to create freedom for us. But if we park that limiting belief for a second and look at your personal leverage, we are talking about three things. Think of it as 3C: competence, curiosity, and character. Now, literally everyone has personal levers for each of those three categories. And if you can't name what those are right now, then this will probably be the most valuable video you can watch at this point. We're going to talk about those 3C so that afterwards we can talk about you making a quantum leap in your online business or personal life. A quantum leap simply being the move that you can currently make that costs you little effort that will create massive impact. So this one, consider watching until the very end. Let's dive in. Your lever of competence. This is about creating impact in a way that feels effortless to you. So this is about your gifts. So what separates high achievers from the absolute average is that high achievers have the courage to let their gifts unfold, even if that implies facing uncertainty. And you will face uncertainty if you lean into your gifts, because our society doesn't function on everybody chasing their gifts. It functions rather on you playing a necessary role in the system that keeps the system working. Because of that fact, we have all been conditioned in a way to feel a little bit uncertain and scared when we say, okay, I'm going to lean into my natural gifts and I'm going to do what feels effortless to me. And high achievers simply have the courage to lean into that. Average people, however, will focus not on their gifts, but on the system. They will focus on how they can play a part in that system. This will usually cause a lot of friction, internal conflict, because there's a difference between the processes, tasks that you are executing and that gift that you actually feel you should use. And when I say gifts, I don't want to sound vague. So here's exactly what I understand to be a gift. So your nature and your nurture had you develop many personal inclinations that have been repeated and repeated endless times. So this is how a certain skill will feel absolutely effortless to you, while I, for example, might need to practice it for many years. That's a gift, a lifetime of defaulting to a certain pattern of behavior that now feels absolutely effortless to you. For example, you might be an outstanding public speaker or someone who just can talk very well. Then let's say you would started creating YouTube videos as well. You could maybe just turn on the camera and create 12 pieces of content in a single hour where I am still scripting one video, right? That is an unfair difference. That is leverage for you. It's personal leverage. And for that reason, it just makes no sense, if you think about it, that you would do anything other in life than use those gifts in your work and whatever you're doing. Of course, it feels safer to go along with the expectations, maybe of your family and just the world around you, but the payout of having the courage to lean into your gifts is absolutely astronomical. And that is the first lever. The second lever is your curiosity. And I want to make a distinction, because this is not about passion. Probably one of the biggest scams that rich people will continue to tell you. Because first, your curiosity is something that is authentic and natural to you. It's just something that lives on its own. Like when you are doing something, you will always focus on certain elements of that thing you're doing. It's about you. Passion is just an hormonal response in a certain moment, and it's not something you want to base your future on, if you will. The passion that you will experience on a higher level is the result of you having developed your competence. Getting extremely good at something in an effortless way will have you feel passion all the time. But it is curiosity here that we're talking about. Curiosity is the cause, passion is the effect. Now, why does this matter so much? Well, if you get to explore your curiosity in your work, it gives you a certain velocity that makes it impossible to compete with you. Because if something feels like play to you and it feels like work to me, then I hold absolutely no chance in beating you at that game. And I believe that you could see curiosity as a certain narrative that you can find throughout your whole life. It's just hiding in plain sight. And I'll give you an example. When I was younger in elementary school, I remember always drawing these mazes. And I would build these mazes and I would build little traps and weapons in them. And then people would come to me and they would put their pen on the maze and they would have to solve it, right? And that was so incredibly fun to me. And then later in my teens, I started playing video games. When most people would play Age of Empires or Stronghold, they would, play the game for what the game was intended. Meanwhile, I would be building traps and castles and structures and mazes. That was what my curiosity, again, pushed me towards. And then fast forward another 15 years, and I love to still build those same systems and structures, but now for the digital game of entrepreneurship. I love to build systems and models to simplify complex things that help people make money, including myself. So this narrative of curiosity, it might seem complicated to figure it out for yourself, but at the same time, it's the most stupidly simple thing that's right in front of you. And I urge you for the second lever to look for it. It's getting paid to play around as if I'm still in elementary school drawing those mazes. Now, if you really want to shock the world, you also want to explore that third lever, which is character. To lean into the things that are different about you, instead of trying to hide them and to become like a carbon copy of everyone else. And this might sound stupidly simple, I know, but you have no idea how rare it is that someone actually executes this. If you open YouTube for a second, and you must be aware of this, how many people are copying each other these days? And then sometimes someone comes along who just dares to be himself, and then we feel like, oh, this guy has something, right? It's like he has his own lane. In anything that you do, especially in content creation, online business, those who have the balls to lean into their authenticity as a non-strategy, so genuinely, those are the people that are going to effortlessly dominate the online space. And although it's a cliche, it probably is a cliche for a good reason. Now let's talk about a move that is so stupidly simple, but also poses a lot of resistance. You are probably going to be scared to do this kind of thing. And it could already be the case that you know what I'm talking about right now. It might be starting the YouTube channel, starting that business, whatever it is. But here's the thing, because again, I don't want to sound vague when I say quantum leap. Because for example, you came into this world naked, unable to speak, unable to walk. I mean, you were absolutely useless. You couldn't even feed yourself, but by the age of 3, you learned how to do all those things. In 3 years. And then here's the interesting detail. Did you make a plan for that? Did you create a strategy for that? Did you think your way through this whole process of absolute evolution? No, there was absolutely zero control involved in this rapid evolution. Making a quantum leap, the thing right in front of you right now that can change your life, isn't some unicorn idea that sounds cool because the word quantum is in it. It's actually the thing that you are designed to do. So this move is less about learning to do something, but more about unlearning all this control and all these limiting beliefs and all this crap you installed on top of it. Because on the level of competence and gifts, it means rewiring limiting beliefs about work and effort. On the level of curiosity, it means accepting that your work should be infused by that childlike excitement and overcome the belief that having fun in your work means falling behind. On the level of character, it means accepting that it's safe to be seen as the real you, realizing that everyone is only judging themselves. Using your personal leverage for the first time, so making a quantum leap, is both the easiest thing and the scariest thing you'll ever do in your life. Because it's letting go of all those control mechanisms, like safely perfecting things in your head. A quantum leap is made when you look at your life from a helicopter view and you look at the ways that you can create huge impact at very little effort. To have the guts to rely purely on those levers. For me, that was making my first YouTube video. For me, that was launching my first high-ticket program. Consider making that move today. Because to be honest, nobody really cares anyways. Good luck. See you in the next one.